from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Always an honor and a privilege to be here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And no matter what the weather is, the beauty of what I get to do for a living is it doesn't have to do with the weather. So I always have the studio. I can always watch the snow from outside. But I'm going to say one thing because I know that God's in the back of my head right now going, Daniel, I know how you feel about mowing the lawn. And so I feel like maybe, just maybe, God's making it snow a little bit longer so that I can mow the lawn a little bit shorter this season. So I'm sorry to everybody in Central and Upstate New York, but this one might be for me. With that being said, we have Jason Leone on the show here this morning, Oswego State Lakers men's basketball head coach. They're in Illinois. They have already advanced through a portion of the NCAA Division III tournament with victories over Salem State as well as Baldwin-Wallace. They have Marietta coming up very, very soon here and the opportunity to move forward in a 64-team tournament as they look to advance and be a part of the Sweet 16. And just, I mean, this is a tremendous, or I should say the Elite Eight. So, I mean, this is a tremendous opportunity for you, Jason. And before we go anywhere with it, you know, how are you? How is life out in Illinois? Let's start there.
Well, great to be on again, Dan. Before I answer that question, I concur with you about the whole lawn mowing thing. So my wife would concur with you too. So with that snow, the fact that we don't have to mow the lawn, I'm all in for that. You know what I mean? As much as I hate the snow, but there is always a silver lining. So you and I are always glass half full guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to be. Like, I don't like mowing the lawn. I just don't like doing it. So I mean, you know, and when I had a significant other, and I mean, that's the thing too, is that now that I'm single, it's all me. When I had a significant other, her statement to me was, "You never want to mow the lawn." And I looked at her and I said, "What you said. Who in their right mind wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what I want to do today? I want to sweat and push this metal all over my front lawn and my back lawn." And the thing is, I have a big lawn. And I have nothing in the lawn. There's no, like, flower boxes. So this is what I'm considering doing, Jason, but I'm probably going to have to live here forever, according to my realtor. So I'm going to ask you this. I'm thinking about dumping a ton of cement in my backyard and putting a basketball court because I have a big backyard, and I love basketball, as you know, and I have no desire to mow all the lawn. But he's like, how are you going to sell the house when, you know, someday when you have a basketball court in the back? I said, because easy. You could tell the family, hey, the kids are safe. They're you know, they have a fence surrounding them. They're in the backyard. The ball's not going to go out into the street. I think it's a good idea.
Well, I don't know about that, but if you love basketball, I'm on board for doing things that you love to do. I know that. I got to do something though. Do you have any idea when you have a wide open backyard that's fenced in? What should I put in it? Because I need to do things that I'd probably do. I'd be more of a fire pit guy. Or okay, let's do a fire pit. So I did do something more like that, but basketball's good too. I mean, I am a basketball coach. I should probably endorse that, right? I'm gonna put a giant fire pit. Like there's gonna be a very small patch of grass. It's too much and it grows. I want to cut the grass every 2 weeks. This past summer, spring, it grew every 4 days, and I can't do that. I have a busy schedule. I got too much going on, and I remember I had to fly out. to maybe to Jacksonville I was flying, but I had to fly out to do something for work, and I mowed the lawn before I got on the plane because I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear any thoughts when
I was like, if I mow the lawn now, I can leave for 4 days and not be in trouble. But now there's nobody to yell at me. I just don't want to do it. So
there you go.
So, so outside of that, you're in Illinois. There is no snow. It is cold though. Bring me into the road to Illinois and just what your team has done. Defeating. Let's go back to Salem State and Baldwin Wallace in those 2 games you got to play at home.
Yeah, it was great wins for our program. Second time in the Sweet 16 in the past 4 years. It's the furthest the program's ever advanced. So the games last weekend were, incredibly intense. We got the opportunity to host by winning our conference tournament and finishing number 1 in the East region. So we got a chance to host a 4-team pod at Laker Hall, Max Seal Gymnasium, and had 2 great crowds. We played Friday night against Salem State, a program that had been in the NCAA tournament. This was their 25th appearance. And they had 2 exceptional players, all region caliber players. We did a great job defensively of bottling those guys up, making them work for everything that they got. Offensively, we did not play well, but we did turn it on for about a 5 to 6 minute stretch, made our 1 run, and we ended up winning by 13 against a good program, good team. And then we advanced against Baldwin Wallace, won a game by 4 in overtime against a team that we had to completely shift gears, where against Salem we were trying to take away their inside game and game in the paint, and then Baldwin Wallace was a team that shot 46-47% of their shots from 3, so we really had to extend our defense out to cover the 3-point line, and we really did a good job executing there, and we kind of flipped the script and had probably our second or third best offensive game of the year against Baldwin Wallace, made some key plays down the stretch and got out of there with a 4-point win. And here we are. We flew out to Illinois yesterday, 1 hour time difference. We're in the Quad Cities in Moline, Illinois. Excited to be out here. Augustana College is the host. Their team will be playing Wheaton College from another school from Illinois in the other side of the bracket, and then we are playing Marietta College in obviously a neutral site game at 5:30 local time, 6:30 Eastern Friday night. So obviously you get to this point, all 4 teams are very good. Augustana is the host school. They're 3rd in the country. They're one of the blue blood programs in all of Division III. So some pick them to be the favorite to win the national championship. So, we'll have our work cut out for us with Marietta. Awesome to be out here in a different part of the country, getting on a plane with guys at the Division III level doesn't happen very often. So our guys get a feel for what it's like to be, kind of like a Division I athlete here this weekend. So we flew out yesterday, had a very indirect flight. The NCAA, allows you to fly if it's over 500 miles from your campus, and we went from Syracuse to Atlanta up to Moline, and that's where we are, and got practice here in a little bit today, and then the game tomorrow at 5:30.
Yeah, and speaking here with Jason Leone, the head coach of the Oswego State Lakers men's basketball team, to be, and like you said, the farthest that this team has advanced in the NCAA Division III tournament is to the Sweet 16, and you've had the opportunity to be there not once but twice now. Just what you could say about what this. I know you've given credit to those that have come before you, and I know that you said, obviously, you had made the statement before, I didn't take over a program that was completely in shambles and whatnot, but you've done so much with Oswego State, and to speak on advancing to the Sweet 16 and being able to do that in the history of Oswego State, let alone in your history, and then do it again and have another crack at getting to the Elite Eight of this thing, just what has been going on under you, because I know you give credit to prior to the Jason Leone era, but Jason, you've done a tremendous job. I can say that because I'm looking at it and I'm seeing it, and the community knows it. Just what you could say about Oswego State Lakers men's basketball, because this Sweet 16 advancement and hosting playoff games inside of the NCAA tournament is something that hasn't happened once. It's happened a couple times here in recent history.
I would tell you that we've had the luxury of having, some great coaches on my staff, that we have worked very well together and tirelessly to, make sure that, that we've recruited some great players to come here. You know, the NCAA tournament, when you get to the end of the year, Dan, it's so important that you have difference makers on the court that can make plays. We've been fortunate enough to have that. The countless All-Americans, all-region players, 1,000-point scorers, you know, that we've had here during my 8 years, that is a big part of our success, you know. Yeah, we also have great pieces in place from an administrative standpoint that allow us to do a good job, you know, whether that be, you know, our admissions office, you know, our athletic director, the people at Oswego State give us some quality resources to work with. The college itself is a very easy sell. There's a lot of things in place that have contributed to our success. You know, when I got the job, you know, you take over a program that, as I've always mentioned, was in good shape. You know, my goal was to see if we could take the thing a little bit of a step further and have more of a consistent identity at a national level. You know, I don't think I deserve all the credit for that. But that was a vision that I had when I got here. I thought there was some things that could be done to take this thing to another level. And, you know, it also happens, Dan, in sports, when you start to get a little taste of that, the people above me at the college, they want to continue to win at that level. And we've continued to add things to our college and to our athletic program that have helped to sell the program. So, the short answer to your question would be, I think we've recruited at a very high level. When you start to win and play games inside your own gym, and people come and see crowds and a buzz about the program, you start to recruit at a little bit higher level. And that's really what this comes back to is the players. You know, you've got to have great players to win at this level.
That coming from Jason Leone. And Jason, you know, you speak on recruiting and just finding the right people, and I want to go a little bit deeper into that because, you know, obviously you and your staff have to, you know, figure out, first and foremost, you have to find people that are obviously going to go to class and do their work and get an education and stay eligible. You have to find good character people as well. And on top of all of that, you have to find somebody who's a good basketball player, who has some raw talent, but also who has learned some things and is coachable and can fit in your system. It's not, you know, I mean, some people say, you know, I'll just go out there and, you know, and this guy shoots really well, so go get him. It's not as easy as that. You have to find the character. You have to find the classroom. You have to find somebody who has the talent but is coachable. There's a lot that goes into this. As you know, there's multi-layers to this thing. It's not just simply finding a good shooter. So just what you could say about what your staff and you do recruiting-wise and just what it is to be Oswego on the recruiting trail.
Well, it's no different than, you know, what you do. You run a business. You know, anybody that runs a business, you know, when you're interviewing people that are going to work under you, that you're going to rely upon, you're going to do as thorough a job as you possibly can. You're going to have a system in place, a model of, you know, of making judgments on people, you know, their talent level, their work habits, their personality. And, you know, Ole, I will say in our process, you know, you can do that over a 10 to 14 month stretch. So you'll learn a lot about people getting to know them in that stretch. So I would never say that we bat 100% in those evaluations, but, you know, you do try as a staff to be as thorough as possible with getting to know people, and talent evaluation is part of it. But, you know, there's a lot of talented players out there. You know, you've got to try to take that talent. It always starts there, but then try to sift through some of the other things. And, you know, the good thing for us is we've had a point of reference of what a great team and a very successful team looks like, because we've been successful here. So we can use that as a starting point or as a reference point when we start to evaluate and say, okay, this kid reminds me of this kid that played on our last Sweet 16 team, you know, and, you know, this is going to be a good fit, you know. And, you know, so the good news is I think we have a model here that has worked. You know, we try the best we can to follow that model, you know. And I think that's been as much a part of our success as anything.
And when you look at, this model that you have at Oswego State as you move forward, just what you could say about how this year's team has really, fit the bill and fit the model, just what you could say about the makeup and the culture of the team that you have in the here and now that has really created this success for you, just what the makeup this year has done to advance you forward.
Well, we've got a very strong will collectively. That at times has presented some problems. Not everything is, apple pie coaching young adults every day. These guys have egos. We've got a lot more type A personalities on this team compared to other teams I've coached, and that has really helped us in most instances. But at times, we've had to massage egos, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you, coaching any team doesn't come with its problems here and there. But this group has had a very, very strong will. And what I mean by that, Dan, is, they really, really know how to dig in. It's just innately part of their personality. I look at our 5 starters, and all 5 of those guys are guys that, just would have no problem going toe-to-toe with anybody in a rock fight. You know what I mean? I mean, they're fighters by nature. And we get out there. We don't physically get beat down by anybody. We don't back down. And, it just is, it's been very impressive to kind of sit back and watch. That's not anything that I've had to coach, Some of that's been things we've evaluated in recruiting. Some of it we've, quite frankly, got lucky with, these guys are, they have a great combination of talent, plus this will to win. And we also have some guys that are just, they're very bright people. They're articulate, they're bright, and they do well in the classroom. And sometimes that doesn't translate to on-the-court smarts, but with this team it does.
And you see this team's success as you advance forward and are in the Sweet 16 and have the opportunity of being in the Elite Eight as you move forward here. As you said, the game is Friday, March 8th at 5:30 p.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Rock Island, Illinois, in Augustana College. At what point in the season did you feel like this team was in that place to do something special? Were there any rocky roads, any bumps in the road that you can go back to where you saw the team respond very well to adversity? Can you reach out to any of those points?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. It's something I think about. I guess the first part of the question, where I thought we might be pretty good, I watched us in the first semester. I think we started 9-0. And then at that point, I sat back and looked at some of our scores and knew we played, some really good teams. And I think all of our wins the first semester were by double figures, except for one. You kind of look and you say, okay, Nazareth was preseason ranked top 25 or getting votes for top 25. Brockport's a great program. Who else did we play? St. Lawrence, who ended up winning 16 or 17 games this year, and you look back and you see, a couple of 20-point wins in there, and, nobody's coming within 10 points of you, and you're saying, okay, we might be pretty good, but you don't want to get ahead of yourselves because we played a lot of games at home the first semester. So that's kind of at one point where I said, okay, we might have a chance to be pretty good, Then in terms of the adversity, we went down to Emory right after Christmas, so we were 9-0 and started to get some national attention because we were one of the last remaining undefeated teams in the country. And, we got beat pretty handily down at Emory, which is a really hard place to play, and they're perennially a top 20 team. And then turned around the next day and lost to a Denison team who was incredibly well coached, but, they didn't have a good record, and so that was our first bit of, we didn't handle those 2 losses very well. So I made reference to your last question to, how gritty and how emotionally charged our team is. Well, that's where our emotion kind of hurt us a little bit. We didn't handle those 2 losses very well. And we were fortunate. We had a 10-day layoff between our next game, and it was, we got back and we lost a little bit of confidence, and we had to get back to work for those 10 days. And then we came back and played New Paltz in 10 days and won by 30, and then rattled off another 7 or 8 in a row. So we got to 17-2, and then we lost 3 of our next 5. And that's at the point where, we really faced our biggest challenge of the year because, naturally guys will start to question kind of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And, taking ownership is really hard for young adults these days. It's harder and harder. So we were 18-5. We were battling just to then, after having a 3-game lead in our league, to just finish out the regular season with our last 2 games that were on the road at Brockport and Geneseo. We had to win those 2 games just to win our conference regular season and host the tournament. So we came back with 2 really good wins on the road and against 2 quality opponents, and then now we're on another 6-game winning streak. So there's ebbs and flows with every team, especially in basketball season that lasts over 4 or 5 months. This group has showed that they have been able to come back from 2 bumpy parts of our season. That's kind of been our season in a nutshell. And right now I'm excited because we're playing our best basketball of the year.
And when you look at that here with Jason Leone, Oswego State Lakers men's basketball head coach, when you went through the season and speaking on different points in the season just now, it made me go back to where the team was. Like you said, you had to win on the road at Brockport and at Geneseo to lock up the regular season and be at the top for the SUNYAC to be able to host the tournament. When you had senior day at home and you lost to Cortland and then lost at Plattsburgh and then home against Oneonta in your final regular season game at home, when you go back to those games where you had lost 3 of 4 at the time, beating Potsdam on the road in between all of that, just what you saw from the team there, losing 3 of 4, kind of, being in a good position before that and then putting your back against the wall a little bit, just what you could say about the mettle of the team and the mental toughness of the team to go through that period late in the season to lose 3 of 4 and then still be able to bounce back and win the SUNYAC championship after that.
Yeah, I just think, we went through a stretch there where, similar to our tournament down at Emory, where we kind of, lost track of what our identity was. As a coach, you spend the whole year trying to explain to the team factually who they are. It's really challenging, in my opinion, with coaching guys nowadays. Like, you can't, I teach a coaching class, and it's not enough now with millennials to just say, you've got to do this because I know more than you, and this is why you got to do it. They need to know the facts behind it, and we lost track of our identity in a couple of areas where we had to sit down and talk factually, statistically about, look at these are the numbers when we're winning, and these are the numbers when we're losing. We've got to get back to this, and then you work on in practice. I learned a lot from my 8 years as an assistant, and one of the things that all my coaches, my bosses have taught me is, when you go through those patches, you got to get back to the simplicity of the game, the fundamentals, So we combined factual data with getting back to teaching technique, and then you got to implore, you got to empower the players to take ownership of their season, and encourage them to get back to who they are. And this isn't going to get better until you do something about it. And thankfully, we have a strong enough leadership core on our team where they did that. And now we've rattled off 6 in a row, I think it is, and we're back to where we need to be.
That comment from Jason Leone out in Illinois. Their game, once again, folks, if you want to pay attention to this game, you want to watch it, you can go straight to OswegoLakers.com and head to the men's basketball page. You can watch, listen, see live stats from Augustana College. The game is this Friday, March 8th. Our time, 6:30. Their time in Illinois, 5:30 p.m. against Marietta College. Jason, as always, I appreciate it. The last time that you got into the Sweet 16 and had gone all the way through, you and I spoke through your road there, and it snowed like crazy, and the weather was atrocious. And now, as you are here in the Sweet 16 once again, it's snowing like crazy and the weather is atrocious. So that's another glass half full, is when the weather is bad and it won't stop snowing, Oswego State is playing in the Sweet 16. So that's a good thing.
It's funny you got to that way, Dan, but we'll take it. You know?
It's true, because I remember the last time that you and I had a conversation, I remember looking out the window of my studio going, "Oh my, are you serious right now?" And I remember sitting with you, and I remember being on the phone with you and just thinking to myself, this is insane. This weather is crazy, but I'm happy for Oswego. And I looked outside this morning and said, this weather's insane, but guess what? I'm happy for Oswego. So here we are.
I'm happy too. So we got, I really appreciate you having me back on the show, and I really enjoyed talking hoops with you. And, this is a wonderful deal for our guys. I don't know how it's going to turn out tomorrow night, but, this group has got a different feel to it. Not to discredit any of my previous teams, but these guys have. We had an outstanding practice yesterday. We're really getting ready to go here. I can feel some juice behind this team here.
Well, that's good, and hopefully we'll have some great news coming up here as we continue on. I will be watching. I know that you will be doing your thing, and the team will as well. God bless to each and every single one of you. Please, obviously, be safe and enjoy the game and give it your all. And I'm looking forward to some hopeful good news here as we move forward with the game being this Friday.
Yeah, you're going to love it when you tune in. This is one of the coolest places in Division III to play a basketball game, Augustana College. If you've never seen it before, they have an incredible following, and the arena we're going to play in is top notch. It'll have a really cool low to mid Division I feel to it with the sellout and everything. So it's going to be kind of a cool atmosphere for our guys to play in.
Well, awesome. I hope you got some green and gold out there supporting you as well.
Okay, we'll do it, Don. Thanks for everything, Dan.